love.
The House of Hope has room for the heartbroken.
And there's a line that he used. There's a hole where my heart used to be. And I think so many people feel that.
Dr. Charles Jenkins and Pastor Charlie Dates expect a full house Friday on the far south side.
This is really a privilege, to be honest with you.
Dates' church is playing host, and Jenkins is co-officiating the service for Reverend Jesse Jackson.
He's come to the people for decades. The people are coming back to him.
The whole world knew the civil rights leader, but Dates and Jenkins, a former pastor at Reverend Jackson's home church, knew the man.
Reverend Jackson treated me like a son. I met him almost 30 years ago.
The first time that I got invited to speak with him, I was 17 at a King breakfast, and it was the largest platform, quite frankly, I'd had at that moment.
On Friday, House of Hope will welcome the masses alongside entertainers and world leaders, including former presidents Biden, Obama, and Clinton.
It's going to be a few hours of power-packed hope and magic. You'd almost be able to touch it.
So you're going to feel the spirit. You're going to be inspired, uplifted.
Jenkins and Reverend James T. Meeks will guide the service, introducing speakers and performers.
And so it's not hard to talk about somebody who's giving you something to talk about.
The world is welcome to the House of Hope.
Come, show up, that we will never have another moment to celebrate such a world-changing leader like this one.
Soon, seats will fill with the heartbroken and the hopeful.
You could expect inspiration. You could expect to leave not feeling sad, but leave feeling encouraged to do something positive in the world.
At this moment, I'd like to introduce Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson.
It did there at high noon, the heavens cried out, and the rivers were hungry with God. And the hole where our heart used to be. Legendary, known as a gospel preacher, but more than that, when Dr. King came to Chicago, churches closed doors in Dr. King's face. Ministers had press conference against Dr. King, but we never stood with him. Because that this church stood bare for 7 years, did not get financing. First through his relationship with Dr. King, he refused to bow down, stood with him. And today we stand in the wake of his life, his living, his legacy.
Presidential campaign, and he was larger than life to all of the children. In 1998, thereabout, I'm a student at Morgan Park High School, and he invited me to introduce him at the King Breakfast. At that time, it was about the 8th annual. And as a high school student, he literally gave me the largest platform that I got a chance to speak at that time. And he said to me, he said, man, be sure that your sermons are bigger than just for your church. Even as a kid, and then in my pastorate, he urged me to make the message more meaningful outside of the four walls of the church. And that's iconic in a real sense. A very simple shift made him into a very national speaker. And he wanted the rest of us, including those of us much his junior, as it were, to do the same. So we know him as a national figure, but I knew him as a man who took an interest in young people and in our success.
And to follow up on that, Pastor, if you can talk to us about moving forward, how do you now carry on with everything that he's taught you, right? Like, he's got this huge legacy. How do you continue to carry on his message for years to come and to inspire now the next generation?
Well, the truth is, it's going to be very difficult in a real sense to ever find a replacement. And so I honor your question in that regard. You get the feeling that if Reverend Jackson were alive and well right now, he would know exactly what to do. And I think the best thing that we can do is to urge young people to live into that for which he gave his life. We have a lethargic black electorate in Chicago. We have fewer young people registered to vote. We have fewer people showing up to the polls. I think it's incumbent upon preachers like me and others to encourage a new generation to actually follow through on the mandate of his life. And to keep preaching hope is alive. You know, the reality is hope is found in the very conditions that cause despair. Reverend Jackson did not despair. We find ourselves at a time in American history where we need to keep hope very much alive.
You who have an opinion, the people who are coming to pay their respects to Jesse Jackson ain't coming to your funeral. They're coming to his funeral because of the life that he lived and because of the phone calls that he made and because of the lives that he changed and because of the people that he touched. And so when people say I'm coming to speak or to be present and to pay my final respects to Jesse Jackson, we ask all to respect that because that was the life that is Jesse Jackson. So we expect a grand meeting of people who are beneficiaries of the life and the work of Jesse Jackson. We expect it from the far right, and they are welcome if they come respectfully. And we expect it from the far left. Honor Mrs. Jesse Jackson. This is her request.
Political leaders mourning the death of civil rights icon Jesse Jackson. The Reverend Jesse Jackson was a longtime civil rights activist, Baptist minister, and two-time presidential candidate. He marched alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was with King when he was assassinated. He founded and led the Rainbow Push Coalition to fight for social justice. Jesse Jackson was 84 years old. In a post on social media, President Trump said he met Reverend Jackson long before becoming president. He remembered Jackson as a good man with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. President Trump also detailed the ways he said he helped Jackson over the years, including providing office space for the Rainbow Push Coalition and supporting civil rights initiatives Jackson pushed for. Joining us now is CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, thank you for your time today. Can you tell us more about President Trump's relationship with Jackson?
Yeah, it's among the many he had in the political and business communities, but they collaborated most recently, most notably in the late 1990s when Jackson had launched what was called Project Wall Street, or the Wall Street Project, which was designed to encourage the financial industry, especially to diversify its ranks among employees and to work on providing services to minority communities across the country. Jackson had worked for so many years on economic opportunity zones, investing in HBCUs, getting the business community to appreciate, understand, and invest in its minority customers and minority employees. So Trump, who owns 40 Wall Street, a pistachio-hued building there in the financial district, had provided office space and worked with him on some of those initiatives in the late 90s. Of course, thinks differently nowadays about how corporate America.
Jackie Jackson